Welcome to Ask the Professor. I am your host, Professor Ben, and we get together live every Wednesday for about 20 minutes or so. And we're talking all things business, all things influence, helping you get through the challenges that you're dealing with every week, every day. And of course, we are joined today by our producer, Ari. Where are you, Ari? There you are. Thank you for all the work you do to get us this far every week, man. So it's a big taking on, and you do a great job. Thank you for that. And we also have a special guest who I'm feeling we're going to have back over and over and over again. We have Indie Bollman, longtime HR leader, keynote speaker, and if that wasn't enough, author of the bestseller Leadership Truth Bomb. So Indie, thank you for jumping in and joining us today. Definitely an honor to have you on the show.
Gosh, thank you, Ben and Ari. It's always a pleasure to be on these. And thank you to everybody joining us today. We have a great subject, and Ben, I know you're going to tell us all about it.
We do have a great subject. And I know this is one that lights you up, that gets you excited.
Yep.
Hey, Indy, speaking of lighting you up and getting you all excited, if it's okay with you, can we put, Ari, do we have like a copy of her book or anything so people can get a visual on it?
Oh,
maybe even an Amazon link. We got to do some shameless plugs for Indy.
Love me a shameless plug. Yes.
If you haven't picked this book up yet and you are a leader or an aspiring leader, what are you waiting for? Go to Amazon, get the book over to you, and start growing. Yeah. That's why you're here.
Yeah, it is available on Amazon, and thank you for just letting me take 5 seconds. You can also order it through any major retailer, Barnes & Noble, places like that. So thank you. There it is. There's my baby, my book baby. Thank you.
Yeah. And you could have cleaned up your desk before you took that picture.
No, it shows how busy I am. Yeah,
it shows that you are working on your next book. Is right. That's what it shows. That's awesome.
Is true.
So, Indy, thanks for letting me bring up the topic. So today we're diving into leadership and accountability. Mm-hmm. I know it's one of your favorite topics because it's so important. I'll let you jump in. Why is this topic so important for you, Indy?
It is so important. And yes, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a minute because it just gets a bad rap. It really does. And I think we've attached that to that word accountability, and we've made it more of a get in trouble, more of a let me catch you at doing something wrong than what it really should be, which is motivating. And like you said, lighting people up for getting their chance to do something awesome.
That's a really good point. Is like it does at first has a negative connotation to it. Mm-hmm. Am I in trouble? Am I being held accountable for something I did wrong, where I messed up? And that could not be further from the truth in terms of why accountability is so important on a team. In fact, I think I've heard you say this on our webinar before. I know I've heard you say this before. Accountability can actually be rocket fuel.
Yeah.
When it's applied correctly, it's like it takes you out of this blame game and it turns it into something that gets you moving further and faster.
Yeah, I do say that a lot. Every chance you let me, Ben, and to anybody who'll hear it. And so I'm happy to say it now. It should be rocket fuel. Accountability is so misunderstood. And you mentioned the word blame, and I have to tell you, I was doing a little bit of research the other day, kind of prepping for this. And I went out and I said, well, I wonder what are some synonyms for the word accountability? And I'll be darned, literally a synonym for accountability listed through internet resources and dictionaries is the word blame. And I'm like, oh my gosh. That's where that comes from. And it's really not that at all. It really needs to be removed and replaced with some other things. And I don't know if you want to go into that yet, but I really, really believe strongly that there's another entire perception of accountability that should just get you going for something new and provide your team that chance to shine, which they want. Believe me, they want.
You know what? I say we dig into it. And here, leader, athlete, team leader, frontline person that is going to see success without accountability. Their own accountability, the team's accountability. Results are what we define success by. So who's accountable for those results? And it's a sign of winning, right? It's not a sign of blame. It's a sign of winning. And it's such an important part. So yeah, I agree. I said we dive into that.
I'm dying to. Sorry, I cut you off, Ari. I'm sorry. And I'm accountable for that. I'm totally accountable for that. So, I'm just chomping at the bit to say, it really is not about blame, but there are other synonyms out there, which is so weird to me that one is blame, but there's other synonyms like integrity and ethical, responsible. And my favorite one is, gosh, commitment. Accountability is just a commitment to see something through. And that's it. And, if your team is ready and you've prepared them well, man, they've earned their shot to try something. And accountability, let's just not call it that. Let's call it commitment. It's a commitment to see something through and to be excellent in doing it. And I'm telling you, that fires me up, as you can tell. But I'm telling you, it fires a team up too, especially someone who's hungry to grow and they're ready to do it.
So when you say that, like, it fires up the team that's hungry to grow, there's the opposite of that as well, which is probably worth saying. And that is, it helps those that are not ready to grow, those that want to just hide in the shadows and get by with the least amount of work possible. It helps those self-select to go find a different place to go do that, right?
Yeah.
Like, I want to grow. I want to be accountable. So I'm ready to be accountable. If I want to hide and just get by and just kind of skirt by with the minimum, when there's accountability in the air, I want to go find somewhere else to go. I want to get out of here.
Yeah, the hiders. Listen, it's the rare employee that wants to come on board and doesn't want to grow and doesn't want to try anything new, exciting, doesn't want to stretch their wings. There are some, and you know what? There are roles for that, and I'm grateful for those people. But I got to tell you, today's talent and what companies are looking for to help them grow their organization are these people that are just ready to launch and they want to do something new, and giving them that chance. This is where they want to go. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't you want to go somewhere that makes sure you're in the right place, that says, hey, I believe in you. I see what you've got in you, even if you don't see it yet. And I'm going to help you get there. And then I'm going to let you dip your toe in the water and try on some things. It doesn't matter if you fall forward a little bit. It just means we're going to give it a shot and get you ready. And that's what accountability is.
Indy, one of the things that we always love to do on this show is bring the audience involved. And we got a couple of comments here. I saw you put one up, Ari. Is responsibility a synonym? And you were saying that, Indy, responsibility is a synonym, right? So responsibility is great. In fact, you think of, as we're coming of age, we want to take on more responsibility. That's what fires us up as growing adults and blooming adults, is like, I want more responsibility. I want to grow. So we can do that with our employees as well.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I noticed, Iris, your name also begins with an I. So right on, sister.
Iris and Indy. Okay.
The I's have it 100%. Yes, responsibility is, it's mine. I get to do this and show, this is what I came for. This is what I'm made of. I'm about to show you that. And so responsibility, 100%. But listen, accountability, you can use any of those words. You can use a different word, whatever it is that puts the right energy around it for the right people that are ready to like I said, launch. Yeah. Call it something different. But for some reason, boy, accountability doesn't always do the job.
So as leaders, if we're leaders and we're realizing, oh man, I don't have a strong environment of accountability, I would say one of the first things that we need to change as leaders is realizing that accountability is about celebrating what's right, celebrating the win. And now the team can rally around that. Instead of saying like, ooh, I want to hide in shadows in case I don't win. Let's talk about winning. Let's talk about that's a great visual over there, Ari, is rewarding the accountability, celebrating the accountability. That is where we can have the biggest impact in changing our environment.
Yeah. And if you're a leader and you're watching this, I'm gonna tell you a little secret. Somebody gave you a shot too. And you may not have done it perfectly the first time, but somebody believed in you and let you try it on, let you spread those wings until you kept moving up and learning more and, going up that ladder of success that you were looking for. And so now's your time to give that back. And, Ben, it makes me think that because they did that, they were able, your leaders, the leaders on here and the people about to become leaders, because people have done that for you, they've been able to go on to do bigger and better things and make openings for new people coming behind them. So it's your duty as a leader to train people. And accountability, 100%, just like delegation, they're very closely, they're like cousins, I think. It's teaching, right? It's teaching people, and they want to learn so bad. Let them have that chance.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. So this goes perfectly with this question here. Iris, I think you got Iris plugged in here, Indy, with the
Iris,
connection.
right on.
So discuss how to take accountability for your mistakes and how to recover from that and move on. So there's a couple things. There's a lot here to this. Is first off, taking accountability, having a safe place to take accountability. A lot of that's going to come from the environment. So the leadership of your team, of your organization, has to create this environment where you can step up, I can step up and say, I'm taking accountability for, and this goes back to kind of that blame side, I'm taking accountability for messing up, okay? And part of that is the other side, that Indy, that you're talking about, is we're also taking accountability on winning. Knowing that there is no one person on the team that's going to bring in the win. It takes all the supporting members of the team to make that happen. So there's the accountability of the whole team. Bottom line starts with that environment that makes it okay, makes it expected. I'm going to use that word on purpose, Ari. Makes it expected in terms of taking accountability for the good and the bad at the same time. And then the recover part of it. The recover part of it's really important. Okay, so this stems from having your own set of core values, your own set of standards that you are going to maintain regardless of the environment, regardless of fingers that may or may not be pointed at you, and realizing that I'm going to take accountability for my wins and my losses. I'm going to learn from them intentionally, and that's what's going to make me grow. So that mentally recover part, it really comes from the work you do before the performance, and that is having those core values and having those standards that you are going to hold yourself to. This is a great question.
Yeah, it's a great question. And Iris, you and I must be psychically connected, because I literally just wrote a little blog on this particular issue. I'm not kidding, about being a leader and you've made a mess of something. You've made a mistake. And so, the first thing I would say is what my daddy used to tell me when I was little: fess up. Immediately. This cannot be swept under the rug. And I think a lot of times, you kind of have to examine, what did I do wrong, to yourself? Why did that happen? But absolutely get with your team and let them know, or the people that have been impacted. Fess up, tell it. Humility is the new cool in leadership. Actually, it's always been, but if we put a hashtag on it right now, let's do it. But if you tell your team, I did this thing wrong, whatever the reason was, and I'm not going to do that again. I see the impact it has. I'm going to be better. And then you have to bring that, of course. You've done two things. You've helped clear the air, and you've taught them how to handle that going forward. Nothing could be more valuable than preparing for that, because we are human. We are going to make mistakes. There is no such thing as perfection. So don't hold yourself to it. Don't hold your team to it, because trying to be perfect only brings disappointment. Really, it's just not going to happen. So great question. And as you can see, I am also passionate about that, Iris. So thank you.
So you know what? This is a perfect segue to bring up the expectations of accountability. And this is a little bit of the academia side of the Ask the Professor. We don't have to go too far into this, but you know what? Let's bring it up, at least for touching on this first one, which I think you've kind of subtly mentioned as well too, is if you're the leader, you mess up, then you've got to, raise your hand. Mess up. You mess up,
absolutely. Fess up.
If it rhymes, it's true. So it has to be true. So modeling expectations as the leader, right? Going back to Iris's question, and a question that we hear a lot, which is like, can I stick my neck up and say, hey, I made this mistake, if it's a blame thing? Or can I raise my hand and say, hey, as a team, we're accountable for this win, and let's celebrate that. As leaders, we've got to model those expectations.
Ben, can I add something real quick?
Oh my
because
gosh,
if you don't fess up when you mess up and you think, well, I'm just going to sweep it under the rug because I'm embarrassed. I shouldn't have acted that way. I'm embarrassed. So I'm just going to let time heal that wound. That is not what happens. Now they see that the meltdown is possible or whatever happened or the mistake, and it can mess with trust a little bit. So it's better to just say, I'm human, I messed up, I'm going to do better, than to just say, I'm just going to let it go and I'm going to bring in donuts tomorrow morning. It'll all be okay. No, that's not, they'll eat the donuts and they're probably good, but they're not going to forget that you didn't show up for them and say, I made a mistake. I was wrong.
Absolutely.
And then,
And so
goodness,
go back to that, Ari. Go back to that visual for a second, because now, Indy, as you're kind of walking us through this, now we need our team to do the same, right? So we're modeling the expectations, whether it is a mess up and a fess up, and we raise our hand as the leader, whether it is keeping all our data in the CRM, whether it is holding true to our meeting standards as a team and as an organization, whatever it is, we've got to model those behaviors. And then we need to expect our team to do the same, right?
Yeah.
We can't just be the only ones. We expect to cascade so that I think Iris, I see another question over here from Iris, is this the domino effect, right? And it is the domino effect, especially in a multi-layered team where you have maybe a CEO, some VPs, some directors, some managers, expecting that cascade from the top all the way through the organization. That's what we're going to see the impact of accountability, of ownership, of celebrating wins.
I agree 100%, because not only are you flowing that out to them, you're modeling it, which is kind of a double way of saying this is how you should handle this. And that's what they're doing. They're watching you so they can learn how to grow, in your footsteps or grow into whatever area they're going to move into. But you're teaching them how to be a leader and how to be accountable with every action you take or don't. And that's just something to always remember. You're welcome, Iris.
Yeah, I think that's a new guest over there. Great screen name.
Okay.
Coming in from YouTube, it looks like. So, hey, we love the LinkedIn family, the YouTube family, the Instagram family. Thank you guys for being on the show. Indy, I warned you this would happen. We've got like a minute and a half left. This is crazy. Let's talk a little bit, because you touched on this as well. And so it's probably worth at least leaving this for those leaders that are watching or aspiring leaders that are watching. Accountability is empowerment. You hinted towards this a little bit ago. Accountability is empowerment. We hear people, the phrase that's coined and used a lot is empower your team. Empower your team. That gift of empowerment comes with accountability.
Yeah.
And they take us so far. Jump in.
Yeah. And thank you. And, we see that word a lot, empowerment. It's a real catchy word. What it really boils down to is you seeing in your team something, like I said earlier, that they don't see it, and saying, I believe in you. You're ready. I've made sure you're ready. Now let's see what you got. Let's let you run with this and learn from it, whatever the result is. So that's empowering when someone says to me, I believe in you. I see your value. Come on, let's do this. I'm lifted up by that, and my entire focus is on the challenge or the work at hand, not on worrying about if I'm going to fail. That's empowerment.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll end with this too. So empowerment, I think we could, next time we get you back on the show, let's spend the whole 20 minutes on just that one topic. Just that one topic.
Okay.
And maybe even just realizing the clarity that comes from accountability, right? It takes away the chaos. It takes away the, oh my gosh, everyone's pointing fingers everywhere. I don't even want to come into work anymore. And it builds clarity around my responsibilities, what I can take ownership, what I can celebrate. That all comes from accountability.
Awesome. And Ben, I think we also, in addition to empowerment, there's a little framework I think we might be able to add to the next session. We've talked about describing it, defining it, what it looks like and feels like. Let's talk about how you address it. And so I think the how-tos coupled with the just huge amount of empowerment that everybody gets from it, I have to make for a great session.
I think you're
Oh.
right about that. So we already have our next topic, Indy, with you on the show again. Thank you to all of our viewers, and for those that were brave enough to throw in some questions. Saw some other questions in here about DISC. We didn't even have we had no time to get to DISC
I
and how
know we
DISC
didn't.
impacts accountability. So that's another topic that we can add as we keep this conversation going, Indy. So Ari, can you help us out? You take a list here for us. I don't know where I put my pencil. Take a list here for us of what we need to cover when we come back. And
For
DISC,
sure. It's a lot to pack in 20 minutes.
It's a lot. But
It is.
thank you everybody for being with us today. And Iris and the person that had something storage, it looked like you had a Jeep icon there. I just want to say right on. If that's a Jeep, right on. I look forward to seeing you next time.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Take care. And
Thanks,
we have an
everybody.
outro, don't we? And Ari, do we get to go through our cool outro and get everybody pumped up to go back to work and get the day on?
Of course.
Thank you, Ben and Ari.